Hi, welcome to Atinasia. I'm Laurent Timmermans, and in this video we'll be discussing your company residency. Now, if you're watching this video, most likely you have a company somewhere in Hong Kong or in Singapore or in another jurisdiction from where you are living, okay? And you're wondering how the whole thing is supposed to work and where is your company resident, and maybe you want to pay, for example, my clients often want to pay tax in Hong Kong, but how this thing works, is your company really resident of Hong Kong, or is it resident from somewhere else? What are the criteria to define the residency of your company? And this is what we'll be looking at in this video. Now, this video is part of a series of 3 other videos. I made one on the 5 things you should know about international taxation. I made one on your personal residency, which is also really important while determining your company residency. And the third one is now on the company residency. I will most likely do more in the future on, like some really specific topics, or to go more into the details, because here I'm giving kind of an overview. But yeah, let's start here. Now, if you're an international tax lawyer, this video is not for you. This video is mainly for an entrepreneur that is wondering how the whole thing works. So I'm trying to vulgarize the information. It's based on 3 main sources. The first one, The International Tax Primer, is a book that I will put down below. I already talk about it in the personal residency video. The second one and the third one, which are kind of grouped together, is the UN and OECD model for a double tax treaty. Okay, so this gives you an idea of where this information comes from. All information down below. Now, without waiting any longer, let's move to the video itself. What I did, I created a PowerPoint again to help you to follow, because it's quite a dry topic, so it will be easier if we do it on a PowerPoint with a screencast. So see you at the end of the video, and hope you enjoy. In my last video, I discussed about tax residency of individuals, and in this video I would like to discuss about the tax residency of your company. So if you have an international business and your company is not located in the place where you live, this will be a really interesting video for you. It could be used by people that live in their home country and have a company overseas. It could be used by digital nomad as well, that live a bit everywhere and have a company in a different jurisdiction. Now, a disclaimer: if you need if you have an actual case and you need help for your tax, I really advise you to go and approach tax lawyer or a tax accountant and ask your question directly to a professional, and don't just use videos on the web to get your answer. This is just an informative video. Don't take all your information here. I really advise you to go and look at your specifics with an expert from your jurisdiction that will actually explain you everything that you need to know. Now, there's 2 ways to determine the residency of a company. Okay, one could be the place of incorporation. This is really popular in the tax haven. We can guess why. So you just open a company in one of the tax haven, and basically they will consider that your company is resident of that country, even if you have no activity whatsoever in the country. The other criteria that is used in international tax is the place of management. So where is this company managed from? Okay, which country? So let's say if you are a Frenchman and you own a Hong Kong company, at that moment France could say that, and you manage it from France, so there is no activities in Hong Kong, you don't even fly here, it's just a financial shell. At that moment, France could say, well, this is a French company, because it's managed from France. Okay, So that's the two main criteria. And the second one is basically the one used by the OECD and the United Nations for their double taxation treaties convention. Okay, so if I were you, I would look at these one first. The place of management. Permanent establishment. So this is another concept that is really interesting if you operate international business. A permanent establishment, what is it? It's basically a fixed place of doing business. Okay, so a fixed place of business, permanent establishment. It could also be a construction or project permanent establishment, or it could be an agency permanent establishment. So through a dependent agent. So somebody is basically representing you in that country. Okay, so these are the three kind of PE. Okay. Now, what is it? Why are we even talking about permanent establishment? Well, if you have an empty shelf in, I don't know, BVI, Hong Kong, Singapore, Panama, Switzerland, Luxembourg, well, basically your country can come and challenge this structure and say, well, this structure has no substance. You don't carry any business there. Everything is done remotely in your own country, and at that moment they could actually even ask you to pay tax in that country, corporate tax. So if you want to pay corporate tax, let's say in Hong Kong, where we have pretty good rates, starting at 8.25% on the first 2 million profit, so it's pretty sweet. You will have to demonstrate to your home country that you have a permanent establishment in Hong Kong. So how can you show that? As I said here, show that you have a fixed place of business in Hong Kong. If you are maybe in construction or you carry out projects in Hong Kong, you could also use this argument. And the other one is to have a dependent agent here. So the most common though is the first one, is having a fixed place of business. That's the most traditional kind of permanent establishment. Now, what is included as permanent establishment? So if you want to create a permanent establishment for your company, what you have to create? Well, it could be a place of management, so basically a place where you manage the business, a branch of your business, an office, a factory, a workshop, or a mine. Any actually activities related to extraction generally will be okay for permanent establishment. Now, what it does not include, what it excludes, well, quite a lot of things there, but let me help you to read that a bit better by putting a bit of color. So, A, the use of facilities solely for the purpose of storage, display, and delivery. So if you have an office, for example, let's say in Hong Kong, and you use it as a 10-meter square office, and you just use it to store a box of your product and have a few shelves where you display your product so that your clients potential clients can have a look at it, for example. This doesn't work. This is not enough to be a permanent establishment. Now, if you carry out marketing activities, sales, and everything, that's another story. But if it's just to display your things, store them, or deliver them to end client, this is not enough. The maintenance of a stock of goods or merchandise belonging to the enterprise solely for the purpose of storage, display, or delivery. So here what we are talking is still the same purpose, okay? So that we won't talk about the red part of this point B, but the most interesting part there is the maintenance of a stock. So before we talk about using the facility, now we are talking about just maintaining a stock of goods or merchandise. So you keep a stock in a warehouse, for example. Again, is not enough if it's just because you want to store it, display, or deliver it to somebody. Okay. Point C, the maintenance of a stock of goods. So we're still talking about a stock of goods, but here the purpose is processing by another enterprise. So when could this happen? Well, imagine you have a supplier in China, and you keep a stock of merchandise nearby this supplier, so that you can just send him your different component. For example, you can just do the assembly or something like that. This is not enough neither. Okay. Point D, the maintenance of a fixed place of business solely for the purpose of purchasing goods or merchandise or collecting information. So if the sole purpose of your office, let's say that you open an office in Hong Kong, but the sole purpose is just to buy stuffs in China, or just to make some market research in Hong Kong, this is not enough. This is not considered a permanent establishment. And this you have to be careful, because this point D is really common in Hong Kong. I do have a lot of these cases in my clients that just come here to buy stuffs in China, and when they open an office, it's just a sourcing office, and that's it, you know. So this is not enough. The maintenance of a fixed place of business solely for the purpose of carrying on for the company any other activities of a preparatory or auxiliary character. So what that means is that if you set up an office in Hong Kong, for example, and it's only to prepare a business, that's not good enough. Okay. And the point F is basically any combination of the activities mentioned in the sub paragraph is, again, won't be enough to be a permanent establishment. Okay. So conclusion. Well, some people believe that the place where you incorporate your business is basically the place where you have to pay your tax. And the truth is that although it's true in certain jurisdictions, in many it's not true. And if you look at the key convention for double tax treaties, the UN model and the OECD model, both of them look at the place of management. So where is the company managed? And one of the key points for you to actually pay your tax in a certain country will be your permanent establishment. Now, we have seen in this video what could be a permanent establishment and what could not be a permanent establishment. So based on that, I hope it can help you to understand better how you could set up international operations in the right way. Now, I have done two other videos on the topic. One was the 5 things that you should know about international taxation, and I really invite you to see this video if you didn't see it yet. And the second one is a really similar video to this one, but applied to your personal tax residency. So if you are somebody that left your country to live abroad, that's a video that you should really have a look at. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, then show it. Put a thumbs up. This really help. And if you like the kind of content you see on this channel, please subscribe to the channel so that you will receive ongoing updates. Now, be careful that I'm not a really heavy poster. So generally what I do, I post a whole bulk of video all at once every month or 2 months. So I really advise you to press the bell on this YouTube channel so that you will receive updates when I post. Otherwise, YouTube will just make my channel disappear in your feed. Okay, so see you soon.